Hello and welcome back. I am Conan Librarian with Conan's EDC, Easy Dad Carry, and today I am doing the follow-up to the Reddit challenge I set for myself. I will post a link here for the items that I picked up that I keep seeing pop up on the Reddit EDC sub, and I keep seeing them and they still appear over and over, and I just wanted to see for myself how useful, how practical, and how much I liked them. I don't want to make this one really as long as the first one, but what I still will say right up top is there were some things that surprised me, some things that I was really happy to discover, and some things that really disappointed. So I'll just start over here. No particular order is the Write in the Rain pen. I realized I really like this pen. It really is innocuous, it's so light and small, it really does just disappear into a pocket, and I really like the feel of it. My main problem was, in fact, what I commented on in the first video, no clip. So this may not be super pretty when you get real close, but I scored a divot in the cap and put a little dab of super glue on here so that I can, in fact, make this a pocket carry, because something I'm not a big fan of is just stuff rattling around in my pocket. So that way this turns it into a super easy tuck and carry anywhere. And honestly, this is now definitely going to ride in my pocket, usually probably as a backup or in my jacket pocket, but I would feel good with this as my main pen. Now I still love, of course, here we go, my Night Eyes Inca still is just an absolute, probably one of my favorite ones still. But this is absolutely a close second. This is a great pen. I recommend this pen to anyone. I know there are some other accessories that do essentially the same thing as this or turn it into a keychain, but this is working fine, and I'm pretty happy with that. Next up, the Zippo. So this has been off and on in my pocket here. It's been a few weeks, almost a month at this point, and I carried all of this stuff for a few weeks off and on. Actually probably for about the last month, just to see really what I liked and what was good. The Zippo, I can't say is going to stay an EDC for me. I don't smoke, so I don't use a lighter all day, but when I need it, it's good to have flame. I use a lighter at work sometimes, but the biggest thing that I found with the lighter I really like is here at my station. So for example, if I wanted to set this down and say singe some paracord, that's really nice, and you can see, obviously, like anyone who's played with the Zippo knows, the flame keeps going. So I do really like that, and I'm definitely going to be keeping a Zippo now in my hiking bags and camping bags, because I like having something I can just set down and let go. But it's too bulky, it's too heavy. This is not EDC for me, but I can absolutely see why people would EDC this. Next up is the Chums, and this might not be the most popular opinion. I think, honestly, from what I've read and seen, I am in the minority, but this wallet is not enough for me. I do really like this wallet. I like how slim it is. I like how minimalistic it is. This is definitely one, again, I'm probably going to be throwing in a camping or a hiking bag or just a quick go bag, because I like that it is, I like the material, I like how light it is, but it is not enough for me. As much as I like to say I'm minimalistic in my carry, I still like having a few things on me that this just can't quite do, but I do really like the idea of this being just a couple cards and some cash, just a little stash pocket. So I, again, kind of like the Zippo. I get why people EDC it, and I would definitely recommend this to anyone who really only carries maybe a couple cards and a couple just small things. But yeah, I would say worth picking up, but not for me an EDC. The Sharpie, I originally started out with a full Sharpie, but just like I mentioned, I don't like a lot of stuff in my pockets per se. So while I actually found myself using the Sharpie a lot more than I thought I would, I decided because of that to find one of these just to see what my options are. Little keychain Sharpie. Comes off, so you can do that, or if you keep this attached and tug on it, you can just draw the Sharpie itself. I end up using the Sharpie a lot more at work, at home, when I'm out, just having a Sharpie, you know, I always saw people carrying Sharpies in their EDCs and talking about how great it was, and I gotta say, I agree. And when I run this one out, I've got, luckily, when you find them online, they come in a pack of a few of them, so definitely worth the carry. Up next, I'm just gonna say it, this is the Victorinox, well, it's a little sack ripoff. I cannot understand how people would consider this a main tool. There's simply not enough for me. Now, I do really like, at the same time, the tweezers. I definitely have used those. The toothpick, even. The scissors. Having as much in this, I mean, it's why it's a classic. I get that it is great, but I cannot, for the life of me, function with this as my main tool. So, it's absolutely great, though. And it's good enough that it is going to become a regular backup that I have on me. I just can't rely on this as a primary. Next up, the RovyVon A8. This is an awesome flashlight. Now, for EDC, my standard EDC, I really prefer a light that's got a drop-in rechargeable, or this one, for example, I can put in a regular AA, while this battery is charging. Most people would probably recognize the IR5, or at least some O-light, just a fantastic light. But for its function, for what it is, this RovyVon A8 is awesome. So 650 lumens just kicks butt. It's hard to find any flashlight that puts out that amount on the top here, and there are a couple versions of this A8 where this one does also have the black light. It doesn't have the glow-in-the-dark casing. I wasn't too worried about that because on the cap, just a little diffuser, so it diffuses light, and also, as you can see, once you have the light on for a minute, it glows in the dark. So I stuck that on there. I stole this cap specifically off of one of my Night Foxes. Again, another great light. I reviewed one. I carry one in my, there we go, in my little Go pouch. But cool little light. They all come with these caps, but you can find them by themselves. Flashlight glow-in-the-dark diffusers, and I picked some up for my AA flashlights and even some C flashlights that I have around the house. But anyway, it's not about the cap, although it makes this very functional. Having the light, or rather the magnet on the bottom, the magnet on the clip, and just being such a nice magnet and still also having a function to clip, just an awesome light to be able to carry, and a huge, just a lot of tools in this light as far as functions, and for such a small package, just a great light. Up next is the notepad. So I originally started with a Right in the Rain, and I still carry this in my dad bag, my go bag, my sling bag. But when I'm just walking around, maybe I don't want to carry my go bag, and that's really what I was focusing on, was not having my bag with me, just having on my person what I wanted. I started playing with these. This is just a cheap little notebook. Picked up a pack of these. But the idea, while this is not Right in the Rain, having something like this in my pocket was actually really comfortable. I really liked this. So while it didn't quite have the same function where I could like flip it open and feel more comfortable, because I like on this having that pad right there. It's easy. It's got kind of a sturdier backing. You know, honestly, grabbing this and just folding it worked fine. The fact that it could ride in my pocket and was still comfortable if it got bent around. I get the field book, or the field notes. I get why people dig this, and honestly, I really do too. This is becoming a standard carry. This is one I'm still carrying with me and on me. I like this idea a lot, and I get it. The Opinel, the number 8. This is my love-hate of all of this stuff here, right? It is still a great knife. I love the feel. And I almost think I would like this knife better if it was smaller, because in my pocket, it is just big. I mean, this Opinel is about the size, length of a Sharpie. It's just kind of an awkward size to carry in my pocket by itself. It doesn't quite settle at the bottom. It's heavy in there. However, the great things are the comfort, the ease of use, the quality itself. I really like this knife. If you watch the first one, again, I'll link here. These if you can see them here, these marks are because I was able to use the back of this edge with a ferro rod to make a huge spark, which is pretty cool. However, I realized after carrying this and really trying, I cannot function with a two-handed blade. I have to have a flipper, I have to have something with a thumb stud, I have to have something that's one-hand deployable, because what I find when I use a knife, unless I am in fact sitting down and deciding I am going to whittle, in which case something like this is great. Or if I'm, say, at a campsite, or say I was preparing food or field dressing something, this is a good sharp knife where I would have this, I would open it, I would lock it, and I would know, all right, now I'm going to work, whatever I'm doing. However, what I find usually when I am using a knife, it is because I am doing something with my hands, I realize I need to open something, I realize I'm holding something, I realize, hey, I've got to cut a thread, or I need to score along something. I can't put something down, usually, and then open and fiddle around with it. I need something I can grab and deploy, do the work I need to do, and then put away safely. That's the other thing, is it's again a tool that you have to not only two-hand open, but it's not the most comfortable to close. We'll see if I can keep this in camera, and then lock. So the Opinel, I really like as a knife and forks function. I just can't EDC this. I get the whole classic gentleman carry thing, and I like this knife. It's going to be like some of this other stuff riding in my hiking bags, and especially camping. I think this is a great campsite knife for sure. I just can't EDC this one. And the last thing is a handkerchief. So this is still not a hank, or like one of those smaller squares. They're usually maybe a little bit bigger than just this cheap mat I got at the dollar store. I started with one of those classic red cotton hanks, and what I realized, or handkerchiefs, bandanas rather, I realized I really liked having it on me in a regular situation. Whether it was while I was at work and I was laying it down to kind of keep my workspace clean, or even set it down to eat lunch after I've carried my hot lunch from the microwave, holding it with my bandana or kerchief, whatever it is. This guy I picked up because I liked owning one, or rather carrying one, so much. Instead of the $1 one, I went out and got something. I did some shopping. Let's see here. This is by Bandits Bandanas. I just really, I found myself understanding why you would carry it. And growing up, my grandpa always carried not just a handkerchief, but a bandana. And I mean, he used it for literally everything, from blowing his nose to wiping his hands to cleaning off the window of his truck. Just literally, that thing was always in his pocket. And I get it now after spending time carrying one, why people carry it, and I'm really happy to. For me personally, I think I'm going to continue to carry the full-size bandana instead of just a hank or a handkerchief. Maybe if I didn't have much pocket space, say it gets to be summertime and I'm wearing something without as many pockets, so I don't have a coat to maybe shove stuff in, I could see maybe wanting to carry something smaller. But for me, bandana or a handkerchief is definitely a win. I get it. So overall, I get the Reddit carry. I like a lot of this, and I get the function of it. My main problem is that it's all loose, and that really bothers me. The knife, that was one of my biggest gripes, besides being two-handed. It's loose, it doesn't clip, and maybe there's something out there that turns, like, maybe there's something that can fit around this collar that creates a clip that would still be on it when it, I don't know, just something to make that easier to carry. But I found, like I said, the Sharpie too big. You probably noticed these S-hooks on this stuff is because if I'm going to keep carrying this stuff, which I really have continued to do, I wanted to set it up on something easy that I can carry with me in any circumstance. So I put it on this Night Eyes setup here, and actually As much as I love it, my Inca still rides on this setup as well. Just because I get the carry, and I want to have this stuff on me, and I really realized having it on me does make my life easy. And it means, too, I really found myself, for the time that I've been carrying this setup, not having my light on me as much, simply because I've got something really bright and functional on me. The pen itself is not, at this point, always my go-to when I've got this in my pocket as well. And while this is a one-handed deploy, and this not quite as easy, if I want a little more comfortable writing that doesn't take as much time, I do like being able to pop that out. So overall, I think the Reddit carry is a win. I'd love to hear your comments. Tell me what I missed, what I maybe might be missing about the Opinel, about carrying just a mini sack as a main carry, or the Chums, or tell me what you found off Reddit maybe that you really like. I want to say, of course, thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me, for liking, subscribing, and commenting. I absolutely love to have a conversation about EDC. And don't forget, I'm going to drop another link here, or at least at the end of the video, about the Civivi Holiday Edition, or as some people have called it, the Chicago Bulls version, or the Winter Edition. For me personally, this is the Santa Baby Civivi Baby Banter, and this video that I'm linking is where I announce that I will be giving away an unopened Civivi Santa Baby Banter to a subscriber who has liked or commented on the video. And once we hit 650 subs here at Conan's EDC, so make sure to check that out. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, thank you again for stopping by. And as always, stay safe, be prepared, and have a great day.